What is up, guys? Ryan here, and in today's Cinema 4D R13 tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you guys some quick tips and some helpful tips to use when using the physical render settings within Cinema 4D. This is really cool because it kind of almost replaces global illumination in a way, and it's a really cool feature that they added into R13 and R14. It's really cool. It's really nice if you're making outdoor scenes or trying to create some lighting in like an interior room, so it's really nice. So let's just get our render settings out of the way. So we want the width at 1280 and the height to be at 720, and that's it. And then we'll just go over here to save, make it a PNG just cause that's what I normally do when I'm making an image. And then the thing we want to do is we want to go up here to renderer, change it from standard to physical, and once we hit physical, you can see a physical tab appears down here. We click that and it brings up some things here. So the first thing, we have the basic properties, depth of field, motion blur, and all the samples it takes when rendering a scene. You don't really want to focus on the depth of field because that's only obviously when you're using depth of field. Motion blur is really helpful for animations. So if you have like a lot of moving parts, it can be really nice. So obviously, if we were to click motion blur, you can move the deformation subdivisions up, and that would obviously sample more of the motion, more of the objects in the scene, and take that into account when rendering it. So it's really nice. For the sampler, we want to keep it on adaptive, but if you say just were for like just rendering sake, not like a final render, and you want to see something quickly, we would actually put it on progressive. And what that does is, instead of rendering it fully, it renders it in like segments. So it'll do like 1 pass and 2 pass and 3 pass instead of doing it all in one render. So we'll keep it at progressive for now, but when we're in our final rendering, when we're ready to render, we'll keep it on fixed. But for now, just keep it on progressive. For sampler progressive mode, we'll just keep it on infinite. You can actually change the pass count, how many times it passes, so that's really nice. So if we wanted to like see, right now it passes 256 times. That's just kind of high, so we could actually change that to probably just about 100, and that's pretty much good for us. So we'll just close the sampler for now. And the next thing we want to do is we want to change this right here is very important to how long it will take to render. Pretty much this is what is going to take. It's going to sampling everything in the scene, and it's going to take all the lighting into account of how it reflects and bounces off things. So I tend to just keep it at 2. But if we're not ready for a final render, I'll usually keep it at 1 because it does take a while for it to render. So yeah, but when in a final render, I'd probably put it on 2, maybe 2.5, depending on how good your computer is. But for me, it's probably just around 2. Now, the cool thing about this, when using physical render, you actually really don't need global illumination anymore, because the physical render kind of almost replaces it with indirect illumination. And pretty much what this does is it will like sample the room or sample what objects are in there. So say if you have a wall and some light coming in, the diffuse depth right here is at 1, so it probably won't be refracting or bouncing. Light won't be bouncing around the room as much. But if we were to say crank this up to like maybe 3 or 4, then you start to see that the light starts to have more of a natural feel to it. Light starts to bounce around the room and illuminate it better. The sampling divisions I usually just keep at 4 or sometimes even 5, but try to stay pretty low on that, because the higher you go, like I said, the more render time you'll have. So I'll just keep the diffuse depth at 3 and the sampling divisions at 4. So let's just build a scene so you guys can see what this looks like. So we'll just grab a plane, drag that out like so, about equal width. Create a new texture. We're gonna make a white one. We'll right click and we'll add a sphere GI. Go to color. We'll just make this like a lightish white gray, and we'll go to reflection, put the brightness at 1, add a texture. Then for now, and go down here to mix strength, and we'll put that at 2, and put the blurriness up to 4%. And close out of that and drag that onto our floor. We're just going to label this floor like so, and then we're just going to add a simple sphere, just so we can sample, so it can have something to sample off of, so you can see how the render works. We're going to create another material, right click, we're going to add a sphere soft shadow. We're going to go to color and make this a bright white and hit OK, and go to reflection, put that up to about 5, then go to texture, obviously add another for now, and put that up to 8, and put a blurriness of 3%. Close out of that, and then we'll drag it onto our sphere like so. Now, if we were just to render this, we'll just grab an interactive render region, go like that, and just close it in. If we let it render out, let me drag this down, since my computer is kind of crapping out on me, since I have some other stuff on here that's running in the background. But yeah, if we render this out, we see that we don't really have much, just like you wouldn't have much in a normal scene. We only have the default light, which really doesn't light much of the room. So we'll just go back out of the interactive render region. Now, if we were to just add an area light, it wouldn't really do us justice. So something that really works good with the physical render is the physical sky. So if we go over here to our plane and physical sky, you can see once we do that, it adds a sky. You can see we have our sun up there, and then it's like kind of rising in the west and setting in the east kind of thing. So if we just drag our physical sky up like this, just above our sphere, you can see our sun is coming from behind us. So if we wanted to say get this on a more of an angle, we could just grab our rotate tool, hold shift, and we could turn it at say like a 45-degree angle. So now that our sun is over there, which is pretty cool. So we'll just set up our camera right about here, and let's just do a quick render region, quick little render, see what we got. As you can see, it's really nice. It's we have a very basic scene, but the illumination that's coming from the sun is really nice. So now if we actually want to mess with the lighting and stuff, the physical sky is super cool with the features it has in it. As you can see here down in our physical tabs, we have time and location. So you can actually change the month, the year, and what day it's on, and also the time. So as you can see, there's a lot of really they went really in depth in this, which is really cool. So if we were to actually put this into say December, as you can see, it gets darker at noon, because obviously the sun starts to set a little bit earlier in the winter. So that's pretty cool. So, and also if we want to go down here and go to the clock, we can see, oh wait, it's not working. I don't know why. It should, oh wait, I know why. Duh. It gets darker kind of in the daytime, which is pretty cool. And if you wanted to, which is really cool, as you can see, the sun moves with the time, so that's really cool. So if you wanted to do a really cool like sky movement render, it'd be really nice. So as we keep going, you can see that now a starry scene starts to come in, which is really cool. But obviously our scene isn't lit, so if you just wanted to light it, we could just add an area light, rotate it, and yeah, like that. And then we'll just drag it up like so. Let me zoom out a little bit so we can adjust this. There we go. And we'll just turn the brightness down to about 15. There we go. And change the shadow type to soft matte shadow. So now if we just render this, you can see that we get a pretty cool nighttime scene. It also adds in stars and stuff. You know what? This is a really cool thing that they added into R13 and R14. It's really cool and it's really in depth. So, I just went over the basics and, really quick render settings. But if you have a good computer, the sky is the limit, because you can create some amazing scenes with this. So anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video, Click that like button, share it with your friends, and if you want to subscribe for more tutorials, click the annotation on screen. If you're not following me on Twitter, go follow me at SymmetryHD, and have a nice day.